Is perfectionism holding you back? It's Monday, it's Marketing for Owners, the podcast is John. Hello, lovely to see you. Even though I can't see you, lovely to hear you. I am in the garden because it's not raining today, which makes a change. It means that I can get out in the fresh air, so if you hear noises in the background, it's the birds or people parking their cars or slamming doors or doing what they do. It's a wonderful life. Get out and about more. Get out of the office. Get yourself walking every now and again. It's fun. Get some fresh air in you. So, perfectionism. Now, I have been on a voyage of discovery recently. I'm a member of Strategic Coach. At my recent, I had a one-on-one up in Manchester because I'd missed the group session. And one of the subjects that we're discussing was perfectionism. Dan Sullivan is fabulous, the guy who started Strategic Coach. And he applies things to himself before he applies it to his clients. And one of the things that he discovered was that he was a perfectionist, and it was holding him back, and it was making him procrastinate. But I've read his things, I went through his exercises, and the funny thing is, it didn't apply to me, or so I thought. So this is more of a confessional, and I want everyone else, I want you to look inside yourself and see if this is happening to you too. Because perfectionism for some will manifest itself very, very obviously. I mean, there's OCD, which is something else. That's way over at the top, way above. That's the people who must have everything just so, otherwise they have anxiety attacks and so on. But perfectionism is where you have to get the job done 100%. And sometimes, because you know it would have to be done perfectly, 100%, you have to get all your ducks in a row, you have to have everything just so much so that you can't even start it. Now that is the extreme. Or if whilst you're doing it, you never ever get to the end. Your planning, your preparation, everything just, and then the work, it never gets to the end because it has to be just so. I know people who this affects, and I know some of you are listening. Hi friends, but it's not necessarily you. That's the funny thing, is since I've been discussing this, others have told me, have confessed that perfectionism holds them back. And these are people that I've not actually realised. I wouldn't have thought, you? Really? I didn't realise. You're actually a go-getter in my book. But they think it's holding them back. And of course they know, they have to analyse themselves. What Dan Sullivan says is, instead of aiming for 100%, aim for 80%. Just get that 80% done, and it gets you started. It gets it done. And more often than not, 80% was good enough. It was as good as you needed. Now, of course, if you are a rocket scientist, you may want to be a little bit more accurate than 80%, but that's different. If you are a surgeon, as he says, 80%, possibly not good enough. However, if you do 80%, then you're left with 20%, okay? So you've done your bit. You then delegate the rest to someone else to finish. They do 80% of the remaining 20%. That means we're now up to 96%. If they then delegate it on, and 80% of that following bit makes it 99%. So can you see how this can get more accurate? But more often than not, 80% was good enough. Our judgment may be based on what we expect of ourselves. It may be based on what we think others think of us, or others' perception of us will be. For instance, if we're if you're taking a photograph, or no, perhaps you're editing a video. You edit it to death. You go through the sound, you pick out everything, because you don't want people to look at your video and think you're not fabulous. Those people are quite happy watching everyday YouTube videos without a second's thought of the quality. It's all in your mind. Now, for me, I was talking to Jennifer. I didn't actually, and I was discussing about perfectionism. And I was explaining that it didn't apply to me, but procrastination does. It's the disease of the entrepreneur and the small business owner. But procrastination applies to me very often, but it's in a different way. And I was explaining how when I want to do something new, I will look out for the experts. I will watch and learn. I will decide who are the experts in the field. I will study them. I will pick out what they do that is special and what sets them apart. And then I will look to model my version on where they are or what they do, so that instead of starting at the bottom rung, I start 3/4 of the way up the ladder. And like a jump start, like a running start, the old standing on the shoulders of giants, etc. So I learn from the experts. I learn what they know. I avoid all the mistakes that they've gone and learned for me. I model them and I apply it to my business. I'll tweak it and apply it. Now that's one of my unique, or that is my unique ability really, is developing those kind of strategies and starting at a high level. But what I then realize is that if it's a new commitment, it's something that's got to be ongoing. I don't like to start something that I can't finish, I can't continue with at that high level. So if I start, I'll start at the high level and continue at the high level, such as podcasting. I do a daily podcast. I can't start it until I know I can manage to do it every day. If I'm thinking, well, next week I'm going on holiday, I'll start it when I get back from holiday, that kind of thing. And I found this applies to a lot of what I do, the things that I do myself. It holds me back. I think the commitment of ongoing to do it at that high level, I better just wait until everything is just so. Suddenly I'm thinking, that's perfectionism. Oh my gosh, I'm a perfectionist. Ah, what is the world coming to? So, in Perfectionists Anonymous, of course, it's just me and you, isn't it? Hello everyone. My name is John Butt. I'm a perfectionist. I'm not as bad as everyone else. I'm not a perfect perfectionist, which I thought gave me a wild card. Gave me an exemption. But obviously not. Now, I'm starting to become aware of this, and I'm doing stuff about it. Don't know what, but for instance, periscoping. Here's a commitment. I signed up to a 30-day challenge to periscope every day. Once I start, I'll be going on. And then strategies. Watch this space. So that's me. What about you? Is that applying to you? Is that why you're not doing the stuff you know you should be doing? Or is it another excuse? Look deep inside yourself. What is your excuse? As Tony Robbins says, what's your story? It's an excuse. But is it perfectionism? Because if it is, if you can identify it, perhaps you can work around it. Try your best. It's going to help. I'm sure we'll be discussing this again many times as I learn in my journey to get over it. If I learn any good tricks, I'll let you know. Okay, end of lecture. It's a Monday, time for a book for the week. Now, today I'm going to recommend an autobiography. So it's not your typical business book. It's a story of someone who did extremely well. The guy's name is Felix Dennis, and it's How to Get Rich. Yeah, How to Get Rich. some of it is a bit kind of in your face. I mean, the Audible version, he actually reads it, but he's so some you might think he grates a bit because he's determined to get rich. Now, Felix Dennis set up a publishing empire. Felix, is it Dennis Publishing? Or Felix? Yeah, Dennis Publishing, I think. But famous for Maxim, the magazine. Now, he sold them a few years ago, but when he died last year, he'd become a lovely guy, by the way, and was into poetry, and that was his new thing. When he died, he's worth £500 million. That's about $800 million. Yes, and self-made from nothing. His story explains all the bad things he did, all the good things he did. Very exciting. He's well known for saying he would be worth about 650 million, but he blew 150 million on women, drink, and drugs. What can I say? There are many phrases to go with that, but he's very honest. But he changed at the end. In fact, the vast majority of his fortune he's left to look after a forest. He's cultivated and grown a new forest on his estate, and he wants that. But it's a fascinating book. So Felix Dennis, How to Get Rich, recommend it. You'll love it. I'll see you tomorrow.